afternoon, paper crafters. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to create a tri-fold greeting card. This card that I'm making today is for my son who's turning 10 in a couple of days. He loves baseball, so I thought it'd be cool to make him a baseball themed greeting card. And I'm going to be using my Cricut Baseball Solutions cartridge for this card. So let's go ahead and get started with it. Okay, here's the base of my cardstock, and the base measures 9 inches by 6 inches, and you'll need to score it in 2 different places. You need to score it at 2 1/4 inches and 6 3/4 inches. Or if you want to do like I did, I scored it at 2 1/4, flipped it over, and then scored it again at 2 1/4. Either way, you'll get the same score marks. I'm just going to take my bone folder and just flatten out sides there so that I have my 2 different panels. Okay, so there we go. I have my panels now, and now I'm just going to add the layers to my card on the front, and then we'll work on the inside afterwards. The first layer to my front is a piece of cranberry colored cardstock that I purchased at Joann's, and the name of it is actually Weave Wine Red, and it's made by the paper company, and I purchased it at Joann's. I went all over town looking for this color because I wanted a deeper red. I didn't want a really bright red, so I finally found it at Joann's. And I'm just going to take my mono adhesive and adhere this first piece to the front here. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So that's our first layer for the front. Now, on top of that, I'm going to put a baseball print piece of paper on the front. Okay, so that's the first portion of my card, the front of my card. Later on, I'm going to be adding a piece that I cut out with my Cricut to the front, but I'll do that last. So let's open it up and start working on the inside of the card. Okay, I'm basically going to be repeating the same pattern that I did on the outside. I'm going to add a piece of cardstock, a red. That's that same one that we use on the front of the card. I'm going to be adding this to the center here of my card. And this piece of cardstock is cut out at 6 inches by 4 1/4 inches. Okay, that's the first layer for the inside. And again, repeating exactly what we did on the outside, I have my pattern piece of baseball paper, and this measures 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. Okay, so there's the first 2 layers for the inside of my card, and I'm going to be adding a third layer. This is my message, and I printed this out on my computer. This is not a stamp or anything, but it just says Happy Birthday Champ, and I use the Lucinda Grand font for the happy birthday, and then I use a font called Team Spirit that I downloaded from a website called defont.com, and I just printed this on a piece of 8 1/2 by 11 printer paper, and then just cut it out, and I cut the square out in the dimensions of 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, I'm also going to be adding a embellishment to the bottom left hand corner here, and this is a baseball brad that I purchased. So I'm just going to use a dimensional for this. And the dimensional fits in here really nicely. So it just fits right in there like that. I'm going to take off the back to my dimensional, and I'm just going to place it right in the bottom left hand corner of my card. There we go, Happy Birthday Champ. Now I'm not finished with the inside. I'm going to be taking some ribbon and adding it to both sides of the card here. And I purchased this ribbon at Hobby Lobby. They had it on sale this week for 50 cents, I think it was. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I adhere my ribbon. Whenever I'm just adding it straight on and I'm not folding it under like this, I always use my Xyron sticker maker to add adhesive to the entire ribbon. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to move the card over and get my Xyron sticker maker here. And this is on sale actually this week at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. I think they're about $20, $22 or so regular price, and you can get it right now for 50% off. But what you do, anything that you stick in this machine, you crank it through and it becomes a sticker. So all I'm going to do is just run it right through there. I'm just going to push them through, and I'm just going to turn my crank here, and I'm guiding it through with my finger just so that the ribbons, they don't run into one another. And then I'm just going to crank it through like that and just rip it off. I'm going to be putting one ribbon on each side. I'm just going to flip my card over so that it's easier for me to make sure that it's centered. Now I'm going to take some scissors and just snip off the ends of the ribbon. Okay, now that I've put my ribbon on there, what I'm going to do now is add some clear gel tacky glue to the edges of the ribbon where I cut it so that the ribbon doesn't unravel over time. And you can use other types of glue to do this, but whatever you use, make sure that it's a clear gel so that it dries clear and you really won't be able to see it. Okay, so I'm done with the inside of my card, and now I'm going to work on the last finishing touch for the outside here. And to do that, I use my Cricut. I'm just going to move my card over, and I cut out this batter at 4 3/4 inches, and I cut this using the baseball Cricut cartridge. And I cut him out using the blackout feature, so you'll need to hit your blackout key and then find the picture of the batter and then cut it at 4 3/4 inches. It's pretty simple. What I wanted to do before I add him to the card is give him a little bit, make him a little bit more interesting. I'm going to use some ultra thick embossing enamel to emboss this guy here. And what that'll do is just give him more of a 3D effect. It'll give him more of a shine and just make him stand out a little bit more on the card. So I'll walk you through quickly how to do that. I'm going to cover up my cutting mat with my little heat mat here. And this is just so that my cutting mat doesn't get warped as I use my heating tool. You'll need some embossing powder. And I'm actually using the ultra thick embossing enamel that Michaels carries. And you'll need that, and I have mine stored in a Glad Lock container here. Then you'll also need your heating tool, and I'm using my Marvy embossing heat tool. And the last thing I'm going to need is my Versamark watermark stamp pad. Okay, so I'm going to take the top off of that. Okay, I'm going to be adding a half of a dimensional on the back side. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I use my heat tool, I like to use my tweezers to hold the object. That way my fingers don't get burnt. So what I'm going to do is just put a half of a dimensional on the back here. And this will allow my tweezers to have something to hold on to. So like that. Okay, so before I need to use this, I'm going to flip him back over. Whoops. And using my Versamark, I'm just going to get him nice and stamped up. Now I'm going to just pick them up here, and I'm going to use those tweezers now, and I'm just going to take my spoon here. I'm going to do this right over the container, that way I don't have a lot of cleanup. I'm just going to pour some embossing powder over the entire image. So he's pretty much all covered. I'm going to move my embossing enamel over to the side here. And now I'm ready to take my heat gun and just emboss him. Now what I'm going to do is add a couple of more dimensionals on the back side here. And I'm just going to be adhering him to the left panel of the card like this. Okay, and just like so. Okay, so that's our card. It's, like I said, pretty simple, very cute. Thanks for watching today, and for more inspiration, visit my website at mypaperpassion.com. Thanks, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.